she hasn't come back to the door yet. So I was like, I'll just go ahead and start. So, the Pam and Tommy thing I was talking about. And it was on Hulu, right? And it was like the main thing. Like you went onto Hulu, it like took up most of your screen was this Pam and Tommy thing. And I kept thinking it was just going to be sensationalized bullshit. And I was like, I don't know, we'll just watch that. All they do is create dramas with celebrities so they will tune in and be distracted, It's like, And when it popped up so big, and I'd seen so many commercials, I was like, fuck it. I don't have anything else to watch. I might as well just go see what it's all about. So, I said I was shocked by all of the hardcore sex and nudity and stuff because this is is their main ad on Hulu. So, how many kids are being drawn into that? And plus they put all this cool music and action and all this stuff. So, what kid's not going to want to watch? So, it's got so much dick in it. I just can't even. If I want to see a whole bunch of dick, I will go and rent a porn or something. Like, I don't need to turn on my TV and just have it shoved down my fucking throat. So, that was disturbing enough. Now my friend in Australia said, oh, well, you want to catch the Pam and Tommy over here in Australia, you just go to Disney Plus. Disney Plus. They bought the rights. No telling what all countries, but yeah. In Australia, go to Disney. You can watch Pam and Tommy having hardcore sex and getting their tape stolen and all of the drama that you don't need to worry about, but you see a lot of dick. So... And you remember, like, when, for anybody who's older, like, when I was a kid, it was National Geographic. That's where you saw your first boobs, Maybe if you found your dad's hidden Playboy magazine. But it wasn't on TV, dinner time. Like, guys, let's all have dinner. Get a pizza. Let's go watch Pam and Tommy. Oh, my God. So, but that's what they want, because they're creating idiocracy. They want to turn everybody's brains off and just make them mindless sex puppets. Oh, and plus the androgyny. You can't be identified by a gender. No, you're just a whatever part, to play in this sex. And okay. So anyways, the Pam and Tommy thing, that's disturbing enough, right? So, and the push on our society, and this idiocracy that they're creating in this desensitizing the kids. So my daughter and stuff are going to be coming, right? And she, she's close to 30, the one that's coming. She's a social worker, so she's like, but everybody in my family remembers progressive, liberal, so except my mom, conservative, religious. So which keeps everybody divided because it's all part of the programming. So anyways, she was like, you got to watch Euphoria. You got to catch up because while I'm there, we got to watch it Sunday night. I was like, I don't know. I watched it last season, which was the first season, and it was like super triggering kind of, it was these girl in high school is just doing all these drugs and stuff. I already lived that life. So I was like, I don't know. And, got a lot of attention the first season, especially the girl who plays, I think her name's Zendaya or something like that. She's real pretty. She's like the younger Charlize Theron kind of. She's super tall and super skinny and super stylish, but she's willing to, look, disheveled and messed up so that for her part or whatever. In the first season, she was very, she was good. It kept coming out like, she's never even done drugs or drank, and she plays this part so well. Like, oh man, that's crazy. Maybe she knows a lot of alcoholics or something. Like, I can get up and, play my dad's friends pretty well. So, anyways, you know, the whole thing, you know, my daughter was like, oh, watch it, watch it, watch it. And I couldn't find anything for like the past 2 days. It's just been like everything I turn on is just, I can't find anything. And I've been so on the black and white movies. You know, so I was already having this different perspective, you know, watching the black and white movies. I mean, they don't show anything, you know, other than the fact that women are hysterical and run and cry about everything and scream over every little fucking thing that falls on the floor. They're, you know, hysterical, crazy, and they need men to control them. So other than that, you know, I mean, they're not showing sex, you know. There's, I mean, even in couples, when they part ways, you know, it's a kiss on the cheek or shake hands, you know, it just wasn't like how it is now. And that is the thing for me, is that it gives me so much more perspective. Because yesterday I was sitting there thinking, you know, it's crazy is I am in this middle generation. I witnessed, I mean, I know people who were from this time, you know. I mean, my mom's had 2 partners and she was married to both of them. It wasn't like it was, you know. Even when I was going to school, if a girl was having sex with somebody, I mean, she would have been like the biggest slut in the whole wide world. Like, oh my God, you're having sex, you slut. Like, it was not something that you certainly wouldn't go talk about it all the time and be doing it openly and doing it at parties and stuff, you know. Everything was very, much more shame associated with some of the stuff. So, you know, seeing that generation and now seeing this new generation. So when I went on, you know, and did it again on, when I went on Hulu, then I saw the Euphoria, you know, and went on to watch it. And so I was like, within the first half an hour, I was already triggered twice. And the first one was the girl who does drugs, and she was just got herself into a completely seedy situation that she didn't know how to get out of. I was like, oh my God, I've been there. And then the next scene is a girl, and this one really got me. I was just like, oh my God, I could feel the stress. I could feel the pain watching this girl. She's driving in a car with this guy. He is going faster and faster, going up towards 100, drinking his beer while he's driving, looking at her. He barely has his eyes on the road. It's mostly just looking at her. And at first, you know, when she's seeming really nervous, like, oh, fuck, you know, and she's starting to, you know, scoot her skirt down and stuff and feeling nervous, like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean, we could get in a car wreck. There for a second, you know, and I was feeling that and being like, oh my God, I've been there so many times. I was like, I don't think I can watch this. I told my daughter, this is way too triggering, this stuff. I'm gonna sit here and remember this kind of stuff, like how horrible it was. And then the girl undoes her seatbelt, climbs up, sits in the window, takes her panties off. That's programming. They just showed you when something like this happens, just do this. This is what you do. Take off your panties, be free, hang out the window. Okay, so then we're going to have all these headless corpse kids, you know, next year. We got all the headless kids, but it's so much with the idiocracy. It's just, it's phenomenal. So and the desensitizing and then giving the direction, you know, we'll tell you how to behave in a situation like this. So then there was a scene, you know, after, and I had just seen a scene like this in a black and white movie where it was like a up above perspective looking down. And it was a party at the lake, you know, I think, and it was just all these people, and they're dressed nice, of course, you know, guys wore ties and shit. And they're all just out, you know, dancing out by the lake and just having a good time. Everybody's dancing, there's music. And then, of course, there was a murder, whatever. And the movie had to have something. But anyways, just this kind of looking from this perspective of this innocence and Kids just out having fun, until somebody dies. But so then in this other one, in Euphoria, so it shows a perspective from kind of above of a party, and it is so freaking seedy. Everybody's fucking drunk or on drugs. The girls are dressed like they, have a side job walking the streets at night. I mean, their clothes are so provocative. They look like strippers. They all have on so much freaking makeup. Like, the makeup industry must really love this generation. And so they've just got pounds of makeup on, probably extensions, wigs, everything. It's like barely even, like, where are you inside of all of that? Where is you? So, they're all it's like they've all put on a costume and a mask, and they're going out in the world to try and fit in. So, and it's showing there's nothing innocent. I mean, people are, having sex at parties, having sex in front of people. They don't give a shit. It's just, nobody gives a shit. And that is this new generation, Well, I mean, my daughter's telling me, this is the greatest show. You got to watch this. It's so fucking good. This is the best season and stuff. So it's the second season. And it's like, well, I haven't said, I'm gonna say, I just, I'm not a voyeur. I don't need to watch this stuff, because then as the show goes, it just is hardcore sex. Like last year they had a girl, I think she was like a junior. She wasn't a senior. She might have been even ninth grade. I don't know. But she's a cam girl. She figured out how she's overweight, struggling with feeling good about herself, so she just decides to be a cam girl, and it's distorted her now over with sex. And so, she's trying to have a normal relationship, and now she's all distorted on sex. She's not even out of high school. So then, you got the two guys, two guys who are madly in love with each other, who, I mean, I've seen so much of their dick at this point. And theirs aren't prosthetics. I doubt. I think these are real. And don't forget, even if these people are 18, 19 years old, legal age to do all of this, they're selling the illusion. They're selling a fantasy. So, and I've talked about this so many times. So, I want to watch, young kids have hardcore sex. What better thing to go do than turn on this show? Because in your mind, while you're watching it, it's high school. These are high school kids. I don't give a shit if they're 23, 24. I mean, for all I know, they're goddamn 30. They're selling a fantasy. They're desensitizing our youth. So I'm sitting here in this middle generation, right? These people, like my mom and her parents, in their, high moral code, no, you don't get the goodies until you put a ring on it, that kind of situation. That's how they were. Then whatever they did during my period of time, it became to me where people became so compliant, so lazy. Just, hand me a bag of chips and a remote and I'm good to go. I've worked hard. And they just became where they didn't pay any attention. That's why so much got through in the politics, because I used to say to people, like, what about this and what about that? And it's just like, oh, yeah, why are you worrying about that? Well, I don't know, seems kind of significant. But people were just going to sleep. They just went to sleep. I don't know what happened, but they just all became so, whatever happens, kind of, doesn't affect me. They all became, like I would say in my generation, let's say, I would say probably between 40 and 60, probably right now in the 20s and 30s, it's probably, there's more bigger, out of shape, sickly kind of people in that age range than ever before. But definitely people in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that now are probably the most unhealthy and obese people for, throughout this age. And they've just given up on taking care of themselves. And, the masked rider of Big Pharma comes riding in with a fucking magic pill. So why do you have to do shit for yourself? Why do you have to take care of yourself? Why do you have to focus on your own health when you got, a medical establishment that's willing to do it for you? And all of the stuff with our food and the poisons and stuff like that. I mean, there's all these reasons, but nobody stopped to go like, oh, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be out of shape and feel sickly. They just thought it was part of the life process. They were sold a story that they bought into. And in that period of time, when they just kind of put people to sleep, they shifted this it's like a promotion of mindless sex, and it's so in our face on TV. It's like you used to have to stay up late to watch something like that on cable. It wasn't on TV, it was on cable. And that's the thing too, is like I came from a generation, I remember when they had to start changing the ratings and all the stuff that was going on with our rating system. And, Laura Petrie, when Dick Van Dyke was first on, they had to have her wear baggier pants because the form-fitting pants showed too much of the shape of her butt. No, oh, we can't have that. And now, like, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people's butts I've seen. For all I know, it's the same damn girl's butt. It just, she's just the butt girl in every movie. I mean, that's the kind of shit they do. But, so we have now, it is just nonstop. And if you think that something is, that's not okay, well, then something's wrong with you. You're a prude. You've got something wrong with you. You just got, you've got a problem with bodies. You got a problem with gays. You got a problem with trans. You got a problem with different, whatever, mixed couples. Like, no matter what, if you say anything, they go at you like, oh, everything, you're a racist, you're a conservative, you're a bigot, with all those words, all those names, and that general philosophy comes from the people who are pushing the agenda. They're pushing so hard to desensitize the youth, because then, you got guys in high school putting on girls' clothes and skimpy girls' clothes and giving their teachers lap dances. My mom told me that there was a school that had to put out all of their books. I don't know if it's for people to see or whatever, but, now they've got parents that are going in and looking, because now parents know, like, something's up. So there's a book for the kids, and it was all about gay sex and how to give a blowjob or something. Like, why? Why? And like I said, the education system is it's a big part of the whole thing. It is where they go to be indoctrinated. Right there. They're teaching them sex in school. And and I remember when they started having all this stuff about AIDS, like you had to sign all these papers to even let your kids go to the AIDS class. It was, when I was a kid, it was like the sex ed, and they would really just tell you about periods and how girls have ovaries, and it wasn't like now. Man, they're pulling out condoms and bananas and probably pulling out dildos at this point. I doubt they're pulling out bananas anymore. That's just, that's too expensive. We got to use a reusable. We'll just buy dildos. So they're turning our kids into oversexed maniacs that don't think for themselves. And it's part of, they want this androgyny. They don't want you to identify yourself as a gender. They don't want you to think they want you completely desensitized. If an old man wants to do it with you, then, that's cool. Maybe he'll give you some money. Like, I don't know. It's super disturbing, because I do have that unique perspective of knowing, of seeing how we got here. And I think there's people not paying attention. There's a lot of older people who are not going to go in and watch a show like that. And not, so they don't even know what's on some of these shows, what's in our programming currently for our youth to watch that they love. Oh, it's good. It's a good show. They were real good. I don't know what is good about it. You know, I'm on episode 3, which I'm not going to keep going. I mean, there became a point where I just, all I could watch, I couldn't even watch it from my own perspective. All I could do was watch it from the perspective of trying to see it through other people's eyes. Like, this is good? Like, this is good. What is good? What in the fuck is good? You got a dad who has got having sex with kids, who got caught on tape because he likes trans kids. He's having sex with someone and gets caught on tape. The son is also, I think, being sexually abused by the dad. The son, there's so much. There's so much. They're just desensitizing and moving us in a direction that is, it's disturbing. Like just empty sex. I mean, find me somebody who is addicted to Tinder that feels good about themselves. I'd love to have a conversation with somebody. You know, I would imagine if there is anybody I could kind of basically know exactly what their personality is like ahead of time. But, you know, this is all about each soul waking up. Each soul has to wake up. Each soul has to see. Each soul has to question this reality. Everybody has to do it for themselves. You can't help anyone along. It's every single soul has to see like, ooh, this is disturbing. Oh, I shouldn't do that. This feels bad, you know? But, you know, this is part of what we are witnessing. This is part of what we will have to, you know, these kinds of things are what we need to make sure never happens again. You know, I don't know if it will even be possible to have it happen again in a higher dimension or higher vibration reality, because, you know, this stuff is low vibration. So there still is going to be lessons. I can't imagine that we would go learn from all this, go into the age of Aquarius and everybody's living, you know, a great life and stuff like that. And that we would bring in, you know, all of this control and dark media stuff. And I think it would be something different, but it's still a step that we have to be aware of. This is the stories we have to tell. Generation that needs to be passed on. Our grandkids need to tell the stories that we're telling right now. What we talk about needs to go for generation and generation to remember what they were able to do in just a few decades, what they've been able to do. And, you know, it's up to all of us. It's inside of you to know what's right and wrong. So it's the tuning into self is what gives you direction. That's all I can do. Just keep on telling people, because I can't go in and change everything. We are the change. It's each and every one of us. You know, we are the things that we want to be different. It's up to each of us to do it. So I can't do it for everybody else. Everybody else has to participate, you know. There's some of these shows that should be pulled off. I mean, they're making a big thing about Rogan, you know, but they're sitting there putting this stuff into our regular TV programming. And it just is like, it's okay. Cuties was okay. They didn't pull that. It continues to be there. Any freaking pedo that wants to go in and watch it, it's right there for your pleasure and entertainment. It's like all of these shows. So, yeah. They're creating this Sodom and Gomorrah, no doubt about it, with the just getting people, and then plus, you know, the other thing that's inside that makes you sterile. So give everybody the HIV and sterilize them, and then put them, take away their gender identity, take away their cultural identity, take away their other languages. Just, you know, just big old shade of gray. That's what they want. No, they want cattle, you know, but as long as you're participating in being the cattle they want, then this is the thing that will wake people up, where they will be very disturbed with their own self, their own, you know, this is where people have to be able to look at their own moral code, their own priorities. What is important? What's important to you? What's important to the world? What's important to our culture? So, and everything that we've been programmed has all been wrong. It's all been to defeat us. So it's time for us to all shine. It's time for us to get our shit together and start waking up and noticing what they're doing. So anyways, I've just really been going, and Stella's at the door. So I might be back. I don't know. We'll see. Talk to you later. Bye.